Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Mugs and Mindset. My name is Chiazom, your humble host, and today we're going to be talking about so many interesting things. Well, not so many, but quite some interesting things. If you're new here, if you're coming across this page for the first time, so this is Mugs and Mindset, a safe space, I like to call it, where we discuss how self-awareness affects every aspect of our lives, how it affects our growth, how it affects our communication, and just like how it generally affects the way we navigate life. So we'll talk about growth, talk about communication, talk about relationships, talk about parenting even, talk about work and boundaries and all the good stuff in between. So I'm a girl who has grown so much over the years, and I can attribute a lot of my growth to self awareness because I got to a point where I just knew I needed to understand myself as a person more, and I went on a journey. So let me say that the journey is never ending. Like self awareness is a continuous thing. You keep learning more about yourself. You never fully, like the person you were 2 years ago may not be who you will be today and may not be who you'll be in the next 3 years. So it's a constant growth, it's a constant journey. So I always say, grab a cup of something, whatever makes you happy. Let's sit down, relax. I'm having water. Let's sit down, relax and rub minds on, self-awareness and so many things surrounding self-awareness and growth. I have a little announcement I'll be making today, but that will come in the course of our conversation. But today, I just want to quickly touch on something I've noticed over time. I think that we struggle with our identities as who we know ourselves to be and who people know us as. So, people's experience of us. I recently came across this post on Instagram where someone beautifully explained something and I could not agree more to it. So there's who you think you are. I think sometimes we confuse confidence and other people's like we confuse who we really want to be, our intentions, with other people's experiences of us. There tends to be an overlapping clash of some sort. So there's who you think you are, your perception of yourself, and most times it's formed by your intentions. It's formed by what you think in your head. It's formed by what you think you actually do. Then there's the aspect of how people experience you. So I said to my husband one time that you can have all these good intentions, but I'll never know your intentions. The only thing I have is what you do to me or what you tell me or your presentation. And that's what every other person outside of yourself has. So as a person, say you want the best for your kids, because we were in the context of that conversation, we're talking about our kids. So I said to him, you can want the best for these girls, but your presentation of that can come off to them as something entirely different, and that's the image of you they will have, and that's all they have. What you show them, what you do to them, how you treat them, how they experience you. So that's why you see where someone can say, I gave you all my best. I gave my life for you. And in the same breath, the people who you gave your life for, who you gave up your life for, will say, oh, you were very mean. You were very nasty to us. So you see that there could be a gap between your intentions and your behavior. So I will never say, oh, people are 100% right about who they say you are. I mean, go for it. Affirmations. I am who I say I am and all that sweet stuff. But if 10, 3, 5 people have said that they experience you in a certain manner, and you think that that's totally wrong from who you believe you are, that might be a point where you need to check what that gap is. There certainly is a gap. If you think you're a kind person and a lot of people think you're a wicked person, I think there's a gap somewhere. There's something going on in the back end that people cannot see. So while I do not say you need to seek validation from people, ask people how you are, no, that's not what I'm saying. I think the right questions here will be, as I always say, ask questions, those difficult questions. Okay, if people see me like this, what is going on? What is it about me that they see? What do I do that presents this version of me that I do not agree with? Because I know in my head that this is the reason why I do the things I do. But what are those things you're doing that's making people feel like you're mean or whatever it is in your own situation? So let me give you a little example. Recently, I had this long conversation with an old friend of mine. She said things that I've done to her in the past that hurt her. And in that moment, I was thinking about it. It's so easy to think of yourself as a good person. It's so, so easy. Not that I'm going about thinking, oh, I don't hurt people. No. But I had excuses for everything she said. I kept telling her, oh, no, it was your fault, or it was something you did that made me react this way. And she asked me, why did you not tell me this is how you felt? It feels like you already set up an armor. You're already fighting me. Like you preempt that I'm going to do a certain thing and you set up that front. You're already blocking me out. You're already fighting me before I even act out what you think I'm going to act. And while we came to we came to a middle ground in that conversation, she was saying to me that I'm one person that, like, from her experience of me, and that was years back, that if she hurt me, she wouldn't know because I might not tell her, but I will just cut her off. And I said to her that, yes, years back, that's how I used to, because I was afraid of confrontation. Well, I was coming from a place where I was afraid of confrontation. And then I got to the point where I'll be like, you know what? It's not worth it. I want my peace. I'll just cut you off. And I said to her that I've grown. Right now, I would handle things differently. I would, if my friendship with you or my relationship with you means anything at all to me, if you hurt me, I will have conversations. I would like to know, like, why did you behave this certain way towards me? Or what you did, I'm not comfortable with it, Because I did tell her some things that she used to do then that I didn't fancy. And I said to her that I was in the phase where I needed to break away from allowing people control my emotions, allowing people control my relationships with them. So I needed to set my boundaries with her. And she said to me that it would have been nice if you told me more of these things rather than just cut me off certain times, at different times when I did. It was just a back and forth conversation, but I don't want to bore you with all the details. But what it did to me was, at the end of our conversation, I said to myself that I thought I was doing what was good, what was best for me at least. And that's okay. But I ended up, like, over so many things she told me that happened along the line, she ended up coming to a place where she would then make assumptions from the patterns I had created in the past. So if I go silent on her for a while, she would just assume, oh, maybe she's upset with me and maybe she's not telling me. And I'm not even in that headspace where I'm going to start asking. So there were lots of assumptions, both from her end. And interestingly, I was not even in that place where I was assuming. Like before, I was not in the place where I was just, cutting off. No, it was just, I was doing life. Life was, but I was struggling with communication. So I understood that and I said to her on that call, I said, I may have hurt a lot of people without knowing in the past and thinking that, oh, I was doing what I thought was right or whatever. I was protecting myself. But as an adult, you learn to communicate. That's one thing self-awareness has helped me with. I've learned to communicate my feelings articulately. So if I'm saying to you, I think that you have done this, I think that you have behaved a certain way, but I would like to know, was this what you intended? Like, is this what you really wanted me to feel? Because this is how I felt. And then you will explain to me, oh no, we have I have wholesome conversations now. And one of the things that stood out for me in our conversation was that she had a baby. I had no idea. Like I buzzed her on her birthday, and that was the day she had a child. And I thought we were close. Some years back, me before would have been like, oh, if you didn't think to tell me you were pregnant and you had a baby, with how close I thought we were, then it means we're not close at all. And I'll just like adjust and be like, okay, this person is not really my friend. But I said to her that I've come to a place where I make excuses for people in my head. I used to do that a lot. I stopped it because I was being foolish unnecessarily for people. But now I've come to the place where I try to reason. Like, I won't now assume, I won't make those excuses for you and run with it. I'll ask you so I find out from you. I'm not making any assumptions for you. I'm not, and I'm not also going to cut off just because I thought you did not think highly of me. So I asked her, what was it with that situation? And she explained something to me. She said, with what you've been going through in a while, I did not want to burden you with, the responsibility of checking up on me, all that stuff. At some point, I knew I was going to tell you, but I also didn't know where you were. I didn't know where your head was at in those times. And if you do not check on me, if I tell you and you do not check on me, I will also feel offended. I'll also feel offended that, you're not checking on me. And I didn't want that drama for us. So I had I wasn't upset at all. I wasn't doing it from a place of, oh, that I did not rate you. I love you so much as my friend. I miss you. I miss us. but I needed to protect me and what we have. I'm sorry. She did, it was a really wholesome conversation. And in that moment, it made sense. Honestly, I'm in the place where I try to make sense of what people are saying and not just jump, oh no, 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 like I don't block off things. I try to understand, like I try to reason. And if it doesn't make sense to me, I'll tell you it doesn't make sense to me. And sometimes your explanation, you might not even explain much, but from what you're saying or what you're not even saying, I'll pick up my response. And that's it. But that conversation was wholesome. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that you can think you're a certain type of person, but people might be experiencing you very differently. So you might want to ask yourself questions on what is that discrepancy? What is that gap? What is the difference between how I think of myself and how people consistently think of me? And what is amiss? I think with mine, it was a case of communication, assumptions, and, so many in betweens. I've been able to not fully, but work out, okay, you really think very, highly of yourself. You are what you say you are, but you also need to consider that people are having real life issues. Life is not all about you. And you need to come to a point where you have these conversations with yourself, with people to understand. And if it doesn't make sense, it's okay, walk away. I have less patience now, but then I'm wiser. Like I have a better discernment. Like I can make sense of what people are saying or what people are not even saying, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to, it's going to be a really short episode. Like I said, I'm going to stop it here today, but I just wanted you to take one thing home today. You can have all the beautiful intentions, but delivering it to people might be something you might want to look at. You might want to look at the gap between who you think you are, the reasons why you do what you do, and why it comes off to people a certain way. Not that you're responsible for how people feel about what you do, but if people have consistently told you that there's this behavioral pattern you have, it presents as this, and it does not add up to who you think you are, you might want to check what that gap is. You might want to check and ask questions of, okay, what am I doing? Why does it present like this? It might be a case of trauma. Like in my case, I told my friend, I said I was at a place where I did not want people taking constant control of my friendships with them. I wanted to come into my own. I wanted to be my own person. I wanted to be confident in my own. Like I wanted to hold it down for myself. So it was a phase. I had to go through it. But like these are the consequences. For every phase, for everything that happens, there are consequences. It might affect your friendships. It might affect your relationships. If you're constantly having fights with someone, you might want to think about, okay, what is going on? Why do we have these constant fights? Just these are questions we ask ourselves because I think my partner, if it's your husband or your wife, she's always doing this, she's always saying this, she's always think about the things that they are saying as well. If there's something they're saying that you're always saying, you're always doing, you might want to also check that while you're, laying your own accusations, because while they're valid, their own thoughts are also valid, right? The announcement I was going to make is that Mox and Mindset will be introducing a second host. Yes, because every good thing needs a structure, every good thing needs good planning, every good thing needs to make sense. And I'm trying to make sense of Mugs and Mindset. I do not want it to be just yappy, yappy, yap and talk. No, I want us to always learn something from every episode. And I've come to the conclusion that our team will have to expand. And part of the part that you will get to see, not the back end now, is that I'll be having a co-host virtually for now, but I'll be introducing her to you. She's an amazing person. She's filled with so much experience, her own lived experience, and just general, life experiences. So we're going to be, like I do here, dissecting topics, dissecting conversations, and also bringing in guest speakers as well, guests to speak to, tell us about their own experiences, of self-awareness, their own experiences of growth, and all that good stuff. So if you think that any of what I've said resonates with you, if you've been in a place where you think something different about yourself and what people tell you about you is totally different, and you want to have a chat about some of these things, you can reach out to us via our email, speak to us at mugsandmindset.com. I will put the email address in the caption so you can reach out to us. Tell us your story if you want us. If you want it to be anonymous, we can have that. If you wanted us to like have chilled conversations about these things, because I'm a huge benefactor of self-awareness and the growth that comes with it. So if these are things you think you would like to chat about, if you think these are things you'd like to talk about and you want to hop on our show, please reach out or send us a message or DM anywhere on any of the platforms where you get to see us, and we will respond accordingly. Thank you. And until the next episode, where I'll be hosting with my new co-host, to have a lovely time, and drop your comments in the comment section. Tell us what you think. If any of this resonated with you, tell us your own experience, and on to the next one. Take care.